A beautiful night in Bristol, Connecticut for some Little League World Series action. All the fun and the excitement that pertains to the New England Regional, with one of the best rivalries taking center stage. Cranston, Rhode Island matching up with the boys from Waterford, Connecticut. On the line, well, let's just say a road trip to Williamsport, which begins with no love lost between these two teams. To Bristol, Connecticut for the Little League World Series here on ESPN3. The Giamatti Center playing as the backdrop for the New England Regional, featuring Cranston, Rhode Island, matching up with Waterford, Connecticut, two of the best teams in New England. And this has been a dominating region for both. The last 5 champions to represent New England in Williamsport have come from either Connecticut or from Rhode Island. And as we take a look at the map, as mentioned, it's all been about two teams, Connecticut and Rhode Island. Waterford back in the dance for the first time since 2000. Cranston back in '96, making it all the way to Williamsport, representing the U.S. And welcome everyone, alongside Chip Frederick, John Brickley, glad to have you with us. We set the stage for one of the best rivalries in all of Little League Baseball when it comes to the New England region. The last 3 years, it has been a daunting task for either Rhode Island or for Connecticut.
Right, Rhode Island wins it last year, and they had the great success up in Williamsport. Connecticut 2 years ago. So we got a little rubber match going on here. The main thing, though, here tonight, John, you don't want to go to the loser's bracket. You want to win this ball game tonight.
And as we take a look, last year Rhode Island made it all the way through, knocking off Connecticut. In 2013, it was Connecticut taking home the New England region title. It's been a great day of Little League Baseball here at the Giamatti Center in Bristol. When we come back, we've got the first pitch between Connecticut and Rhode Island. The fans have jam-packed. We're ready to go. Hope so you are too. ESPN3, first pitch coming up.
Good. Stay. Lie down.
I'd like to take this time.
Roll over. Roll over. Almost. Roll over. Good.
It took Joel Silverman years to become a master dog trainer.
Roll over. Good job.
But only a few commands to master depositing checks at Chase ATMs. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
The past 2 years have not seen one running back selected in the first round of the draft. That certainly puts a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon III to justify the selection. I don't think anyone doubts his ability as a runner, but will he be able to become a consistent threat out of the backfield? He has the potential to be a star. Only time will tell.
Speed Stick gear for moments that matter.
Points. Our points. There's got to be a way to redeem our hotel points. I just want to take a vacation.
This seems crazy.
Oh, really? Tell us something we don't know, Captain Obvious.
Okay. With Hotels.com, when you collect 10 nights, you get 1 free.
Oh.
So you only need to know how to count to 10 to earn a free night at places like that nudist resort.
Yeah, I don't know how that got there.
Because you stayed there, took a selfie, and hung it prominently on the wall. Hotels.com. They won't judge your life choices.
There are 2 cages in this room. The one on your right is made out of high-strength steel, and the other is made of aluminum. Now I'm going to release a 700-pound grizzly bear into the room, so you better pick a cage and get in it.
This is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Ooh.
Why did you pick the steel cage?
Harder for the bear to get in than steel.
You want to see something else made with high-strength steel? That's the Chevy Silverado, made with high-strength steel for high-strength dependability.
Beautiful. This is highly irregular.
Are you ready for ultra-high-def TVs with mind-blowing picture quality?
So ready.
Ready for color that's realer than real?
We're ready.
Ready for 4 times the resolution? Ready for the future of television?
I was born ready.
With this selection, oh, we're ready. Let us show you the difference. Come in and see the picture quality for yourself. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
Well at work here at the Giamatti Center, getting ready for Game 4. It's been a long day of great Little League baseball action as we get set for our 4th and final game. Cranston, Rhode Island, set to take on Waterford, Connecticut. And as we take a look at the division at a glance, 6 teams in a modified double elimination format with ages ranging anywhere from 11 to 13. It's a 6-inning game with a minimum mandatory play, the 2/3 conventional field size. And we've seen at points many of the different substitutions play a factor, pitching eligibility as well, which we will get into throughout tonight's broadcast. And our first chance to see Dylan Demers pitching for Rhode Island, and the first pitch given up to Jared Burrows, the pitcher for Connecticut. And one pitch, one hit so far for Connecticut to lead things off.
A lot of fans from both teams here on hand. Base hit up the middle there. Good, just guessing fastball there. But you know how these teams react to this crowd. I mean, we got people standing behind the outfield fence. This is the biggest crowd, of course, by far that we've had all day.
Electric atmosphere, no question about it. Fans have been piling in the last hour or so here at the Giamatti Center, getting ready for our 4th and final game of this New England Regional. A Waterford team that is the first team from the southern part of Connecticut to represent the state since 2000, when Old Lyme represented the southeastern part of Connecticut. Coming in with a record of 13-2 as Ryan Salvador fouls one away, keeps it an 0-2 count here for Waterford. Demers, you can tell, a veteran, 5'3", great length. As Salvador slaps one to short in foul territory. One interesting note about Waterford's lineup: every single player on this roster is 12 years old.
We've seen some 11-year-olds. That New York team we had in Game 3 of the day had half their squad was 11-year-olds. But yeah, definitely dominated by the 12-year-old age class in this one.
The 0-2 pitch by Demers, swatted away by Salvador, keeps him alive. A rivalry that has really intensified over the last 2 years. A season ago, it was Cumberland representing Rhode Island for New England. Our colleague David Belisle leading that group of kids, as Salvador once again swatting it away to keep himself alive.
There he is. Made the trip over early.
Had one of the most inspirational, memorable speeches in Little League World Series history, as Salvador sends one to center. And the catch made by Tom Harper as Burrows tracks back to first.
It was one of those moments, John, when that happened. I was watching it live last year on television, and I turned to my wife and I said, this is going to be unbelievable. This is going to be all over the internet and YouTube. And of course it was. It became a sensation.
Luke Sokolsky, first pitch, the play to second, the throw too high, as Jared Olson's throw could not get in time to second. And so 2 runners now on as Sokolsky gets on with the infield single here with 1 out in the top of the first.
Well, the intent was there Just the foot comes off the bag. Brought him off the bag.
As Ryan O'Connell, the third baseman, stepping to the plate. And the high heat effective here for Demers. As for O'Connell, Red Sox fan, favorite player Mookie Betts. As O'Connell sends one to right. Near the wall and drops in for a base hit. 2 runs nearly come in. Now there's a base running fiasco. This almost has Little Big League all written over it. Finally, the throw comes home. In to score is Burroughs. And out of all that confusion, Connecticut takes a 1-0 advantage.
Unbelievable there. At one point, John, we had 3 runners within 10 feet of each other. And the amazing thing about that, we'll watch the replay, this ball is crushed the opposite field, goes to the fence, over the right fielder Bender's head. And this is when their excitement starts. He's chugging to second. And we all of a sudden, see, over his head there, all of a sudden we had literally 3 runners. And the interesting thing about that is when the runners retreat back, they have to touch the base that they came from. If that didn't happen, then runners would be out. So they had the gumption enough to know that.
What could have been a double play to end the inning ends up being a run for Connecticut. As Trey Brennan, the left fielder, in his first at-bat. One of 3 siblings. His favorite player is Xander Bogaerts, so a Red Sox theme here for the Connecticut players. And swung on and missed by Brennan to even out the count at 1. Demers trying to work it inside. Too high, 2-1 in favor of Brennan. So a quick start here for Connecticut in the top of the first. And swinging at the high heat was Brennan. Evens up the count at 2-2.
What we talked about in that first game we did together. If I'm coaching at this level, and all these coaches know that, you're going to force the action on the base paths. Be aggressive if you can.
Ground ball to third, play to the plate, and a strong throw by Mason to get the runner out at home and keep it a 1-0 deficit now, as Connecticut still threatening with runners at the corners and 2 outs.
Good throw there from Nick Mason to Marchetti, the catcher, getting the out at home. But no, getting back to my point, you want to be aggressive on the base path because, you know, the defense, and we've seen this in the games we've done all day, is sometimes suspect at 11, 12 years old. You want to be aggressive, take the extra base.
And now going for the pitch out. And can they catch him? No, just barely getting underneath the tag was O'Connell. As Brennan advances to second on the play. So Waterford trying to almost go for the double steal. Instead, they still have runners in scoring position at second and third here with 2 outs. Robert Zawecki swing and a miss on that pitch, evens up the count at 1 apiece.
1-1.
Waterford 13-2 on the season. As this one lifted high and out of play into the stands and left. You mentioned the atmosphere. People standing, there's so much emotion. There's a rivalry game. Waterford only 58 miles from Bristol. Cranston only 106 miles. A 1-2 pitch, and Demers able to get Zawecki down on strikes. But Connecticut, despite some base running blunders, able to pull out a run, and they take the 1-0 lead on Rhode Island here in Bristol, Connecticut.
When salesman Alan Ames books at LaQuinta.com, he gets a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready. So he knows exactly when he can check in and power up before his big meeting. And when Alan gets all powered up, you know what happens?
I think the numbers speak for themselves. I'm sold.
He's a selling machine.
Put it there, and there, and there, and there.
La Quinta Inns and Suites is ready for you, so you'll be ready for business. The Ready For You alert only at LaQuinta.com.
La Quinta.
Imagine, she won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Since 1987, Bristol, Connecticut has been the home site for the New England Mid-Atlantic Regional Tournament, as Connecticut, with a half inning in the books, leads Rhode Island by a score of 1-0. And we take a look at the format, Chip Frederick, a modified double elimination for this tournament in a couple of phases as well. We've got phase 1, teams competing in that double elimination until 4 teams remain, and then in phase 2, the remaining 4 teams compete in a single elimination format, meaning you could have a bad game in your opening round and still be able to somehow represent your region at Williamsport.
Right, definite advantage to the loser's bracket in that case. So you could have a team that's undefeated, and it's not the old school have to beat them twice to advance. It's just a single elimination after that. So a definite advantage. And of course, we went from pool play to this format. Pool play, where you play the Olympic style pool play, where you play everyone in your division and then they bracket it after that. But they went away from that in this double elimination modified bracket.
Tim Burrows, the manager for Waterford, Connecticut, his son on the mound here this afternoon. Jared Burrows making the start against a Rhode Island team who has been an offensive juggernaut during their state tournament. After losing to Lincoln, they outscored their opponents 49-4 over the final 3 games. For that man, Gary Bucci, the manager for Cranston, who is looking to go as deep as the '96 team went, representing the U.S. in Williamsport. And the first offering to Caleb Harris, the second baseman, outside. Connecticut getting on the board in a wild fashion. A couple of base running errors that could have turned ugly. Instead, came up with a 1-0 advantage as the grounder there by Harris is the first out of this inning.
The catcher, number 15, David Marchetti.
As David Marchetti, the catcher, making his appearance, the man they call J-Rod. 5'5", 120 pounds on the mound, and Burrows. As his first offering to Marchetti, low to the knees, for a called ball. As this one stumbles to third, O'Connell fumbled it for a moment, then throws across the diamond to get the put out, 2 away.
Good play there by O'Connell, staying with it. We haven't seen that a lot this afternoon, John. Usually if any type of bobble or misplays you see, just gets into the wicket, comes up short, but throws a absolute rocket to first base for the out.
And we get our first check of Jared Olson, the shortstop, here for Cranston. And this one dribbles back to the mound, picked up by Burrows. And a quick 1-2-3 inning to start for Connecticut. A 1-0 lead on a beautiful night in Bristol for a rivalry game between Connecticut and Rhode Island on ESPN3.
the all-new Fiat 500X crossover. It has 70 standard and available safety features, available all-wheel drive, and a few dangerous curves.
Shavings? No! Savings!
You can't skip this Geico ad because it's already over. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The past 2 years have not seen one running back selected in the first round of the draft. That certainly puts a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon III to justify the selection. I don't think anyone doubts his ability as a runner, but will he be able to become a consistent threat out of the backfield? He has the potential to be a star. Only time will tell.
Speed Stick gear for moments that matter.
We live in a world of mobile technology, but it is not the device that is mobile. It is you.
Real Madrid have about 450 million fans. We're trying to give them all the feeling of being at the stadium. The Microsoft Cloud gives us this kind.
Struble, Goodwood, game tied as he sends a single into right, and it's 5-5. And Addison Kopach back up the middle, and that's hit well. And Rhode Island has gone on top. Now the ball gets away, and here comes Struble. He's in. There it is. Rhode Island's going to Williamsport as they win the New England Championship.
An unbelievable moment for Cumberland, Rhode Island last year, winning the New England region, led by that man, David Belisle. He'll be joining us in the booth this year to call the New England Regional Championship game, and certainly one of the most memorable moments, as we touched upon his speech at Williamsport. And so he's looking on as a spectator now as Rhode Island down 1-0. Back to work is Dylan Demers, going up against the 7-8-9 hitters, and Ben Jerome, the catcher for Waterford. Possibly a future lawyer on hand, having his favorite show be Law and Order. Ben J, as they call him, now ahead in the count, 3-0. As we begin the top of the second. And 4 straight pitches as Demers surrenders a leadoff walk here to begin the second.
The second baseman, number 9, Anthony Tanucci.
So Anthony Tanucci coming in the number 8 spot. Tanucci, the second baseman for this Waterford club. And that one high, evens up the count. Demers able to fool with the changeup, and now ahead of the count, 1-2.
Big difference of this level of baseball and what you might find in college or in pro. Normally, this possibly be a bunt situation. Advance the runner over, move him in. Of course, there's been a definite absence of stealing and bunting. We've seen that all day long. And this is pretty much the stealing part. You cannot advance on a stolen base attempt until the ball passes the batter. Makes it very difficult, your chances to try to steal.
30th pitch coming for Demers, way outside to even up the count at 2-2. We're going to touch upon it with the pitching eligibility. The maximum that a pitcher can have is 85 pitches, and then you look at the number of days of rest, equaling the number of pitches as well. Is a full count here with Demers in some trouble with Jerome with the leadoff walk, and it's that 36 to 50 range where it gets a little bit dicey for managers, and Demers able to come up with a strikeout. Quick check on Jerome, who scampers back to first.
We have yet to see in the 3 games we've done today any pitcher go more than 50. Start crossing over to that 65 threshold, 4 days of rest. The tournament's going to be over in 4 days if you don't watch, or at least till Friday.
As the right fielder, number 9 hitter Matt Sanford, stepping to the plate here for Waterford. Tries to go inside, does so for the strike to even up the count. That is one of the major issues for managers. Not only are trying to get everyone into play at least one at bat, you also have to worry about the pitch count throughout the game. And another strike for Demers. He's ahead of the count, 1-2. Against Sanford, the number 9 hitter. And the grounder up the middle, gets through for a base hit. Jerome thought about third for a moment, but Connecticut, for a second straight inning, is threatening with 2 on here and 1 out.
Little chopper up the box.
Number 12, Jerry Burroughs.
The pitch by Demers to the leadoff man Burroughs high. Pitcher versus pitcher on a beautiful night here in Bristol. Demers has already thrown 38 pitches to this point. Burroughs had the quick 1-2-3 inning for Waterford. This is on the slider outside, 2-1.
And if this holds form here, he might be good for another 10, 11 pitches, and that's it. Start
Misses
getting
way high
this early in the contest.
Well, he's to the point right now where he's already going to have 2 mandatory days of rest. And comes back with the strike on Burroughs. A full count here with 1 out and 2 on.
3-2.
The payoff pitch high and tight, and Burroughs able to draw the walk, and a bases loaded opportunity here for Connecticut with just 1 out and a timeout taken by manager Gary Bucci.
All right. Front shoulder's flying open, all right? All right, hey, Dave.
Already thrown 42 pitches has
all right.
Demers.
Go get him. All right. Corners in, middle back. All right, got to get it out here, okay?
Obviously, talking strategy here. 1 out, where they're going to go if the ball's hit in the corners, third and first. Got the force outs at the bases. The main thing here for Demers, he wants to throw strikes, keep the ball down low, and keep this Connecticut team at bay this early in the ball game.
Brings up Salvador, who flew out to center. And now on the first pitch, swinging. Ground ball to Harris. Flips to second. As Salvador able to beat the throw at first, and a run comes home in the form of Jerome, and it's a 2-0 advantage for Connecticut.
Well, the idea was there. Got the ground ball he wanted. And it is just almost, John, impossible to turn a double play. We've talked about that all afternoon. In a normal situation, bigger ballpark, that's a routine double play.
And so Luke Sokolsky, who had a base hit in his first plate appearance, has a chance to extend the lead for Connecticut here with runners at the corners. Now swings one right up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. That'll play to run as well as Sanford comes in to score. It's a 3-0 advantage for Waterford.
Number 10, Ryan O'Connell.
Demers now has thrown 45 pitches in an inning and 2/3. As O'Connell steps back to the plate. Had the RBI double, which at one point we thought wasn't going to even be an RBI double. Could have been a double play easily. And Demers simply cannot find the zone here. Behind the count, 2-0 with 2 outs in this top of the second. O'Connell trying to swing for the fences, misses on that pitch. O'Connell certainly has the height advantage. And the 2-1 offering in there for a strike to even up the count.
2-2.
The Waterford team just 58 miles from the Giamatti Center here in Bristol, and yet it seems Cranston has brought really the stronger fan base. As O'Connell tried to go opposite way and out of play.
Cranston fan base came with signs, decorations, all saw them out in the parking lot, got here early. You see there, big group of fans in the stands.
2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it, was O'Connell to keep him alive.
There's some signs. Decked out with T-shirts.
Well, it's been a while since Cranston has had something to celebrate for a Little League World Series bid. 96 was the last time as O'Connell skies one to center. Harper underneath it and makes the catch to retire the side. But Connecticut comes up with 2 more runs, extends the lead to 3-0 over Rhode Island as we head to the bottom of the second.
Imagine, she won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Technology empowers us to achieve more. It pushes us to go further.
Special Olympics has almost 5 million athletes in 170 countries. The Microsoft Cloud allows us to immediately be able to access information wherever we are. Information for an athlete's medical care or information to track their personal best. With Microsoft Cloud, we save millions of man-hours. And that's time that we can invest in our athletes and changing the world.
At Outback, steak and unlimited shrimp is back for just $15.99 for a limited time. Try unlimited garlic herb butter or crispy shrimp for just $15.99.
And let the electric atmosphere here at the Giamatti Center in Bristol, Connecticut, as the boys from Waterford up 3-0 on Rhode Island. As we move to the bottom of the second, our 4th and final game of this New England Regional. We saw earlier today Massachusetts come up with a 11-0 win over Maine. And this one saving the best for last in terms of rivalry. These two teams know each other well. The last 5 years, either Connecticut or Rhode Island has represented New England in the New England Regional for Williamsport. As we take a look at Nick Mason, and I made the joke prior, Josh Donaldson, your favorite player, and the remark he says, did you see him at the All-Star game? Did you see how good he was? As Mason goes down on 3 straight pitches and a strikeout to start this bottom of the second. I mean, you can't disagree with the kid.
That's true.
You just kind of say, well, it's a little bit out of the ordinary to pick Josh Donaldson. As Cam Adamek, first baseman, making his first plate appearance.
You know, John, you talked about this rivalry with Rhode Island, Connecticut. Even though these two leagues were not involved in those contests for the last 2 years, they know. They're very aware of the rivalry between the states. It's become a state of tradition-rich baseball areas for Little League, and they know all too well about what's happened the 2 of the last 3 years.
As this one sent into the gap in left center. Adamek rounding first and gets in a second with a stand-up double. Here with one out is Rhode Island trying to threaten on the first base hit of the night for the team for Cranston.
Going with the pitch, opposite field, stand-up double. Nice piece of hitting there, and maybe that'll get things started here for Cranston.
Dylan Demers, the pitcher, trying to help out his own cause.
Number 5, Ryan Demers enters as a special
As Ryan Demers comes in as a special pinch runner. So the twin brothers, Ryan and Dylan Demers, trying to help the cause for Rhode Island. As Burroughs offering in there for a called strike by home plate umpire Joseph Mitchell. Connecticut has been that barometer for this New England region, having sent 19 teams to Williamsport. The last time, 1989, was when they won it all with Chris Drury and Trumbull. As now Burroughs evens up the count at 2-2 to Demers. At the knees, and now full count. Here with one out in this bottom of the second. Winner will face Bedford, New Hampshire in the next round, and Demers able to draw the walk. And so now Rhode Island with their first time threatening here tonight. 2 on and 1 out in a 3-0 hole.
Going fielder, number 8, Jake Bender.
As Jake Bender stepping to the plate. First pitch swinging. Another high heat by Burroughs, and Bender, another Red Sox fan, favorite athlete Dustin Pedroia. You'd figure he'd go Patriots. Instead he goes Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers. And that one gets away. Third strike, you can still have it be in action. And it looked to be a foul tip.
Let's see what the call is here.
Well, they called him out, so there are 2 outs now on the strikeout.
Number 3, Tom Harper.
So Tom Harper, the center fielder, steps to the plate, so that'll be recorded as the second strikeout for Burroughs.
You know what I love about Little League? I just noticed this, picking up on this. Everybody uses the same bat. I wish I had stock in the company with that orange, the orange highlighter bat, I call it. All the teams have been using a bat that looks very similar to that. Must be the hot, the hot bat. Got a lot of hits in it, but you'll just only in Little League you see the guy just drop the bat, and the next guy picks it up using the same bat.
Superstition, that is what Little League Baseball is all about. We've seen some crazy ones.
There you see it.
And yet you know it's August, and you know it's the Little League World Series when you hear the sound of that aluminum bat. Very recognizable sound. 0-2 pitch by Burroughs. The high heat goes down by way of the K as Harper to end the inning. So a threat by Rhode Island is silenced by Burroughs. With back-to-back strikeouts to end the second, Connecticut in front, 3-0.
Imagine, these kids won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched. and web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared, they'll expect their devices to listen to them and talk and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, their technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. The future starts now. For all of us. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
I create my own trends.
I don't follow them.
I set my own benchmark.
And walk a unique path.
When others change,
I am uncompromised.
I set my own standards.
And push my own limits.
I am
original.
Back under the lights in Bristol, Connecticut at the Giamatti Center for New England regional action here on ESPN3. Connecticut and Rhode Island facing off. Want to go through the mandatory play rule contingent upon the number of players a team has at the start of each game. Now, if a team has 13 or more, each player must bat once. Now, if a team has 12 or fewer, each player must play 6 consecutive defensive outs, and they've got to bat once. So there's a little bit of a dynamic to this evolution of Little League World Series action. And we've got our sub here, Trevor D'Amico, coming up for the first time.
And there is an art by the coaching staff of how to get these kids in, when to do it, because if you can't wait till the 5th or 6th inning in order to do so. You got to get your, sometimes some coaches' philosophies, you do it early. If you get ahead, like in the case here of Connecticut, they're up 3-0. They might, the next time they get, pinch hit 3 batters in a row to get their subs out of the way.
In there for a called strike. Now, the other notable issue is Dylan Demers is now up to 55 pitches, meaning he's only got a few more to get into that still 3-day rest period. After that, it'll be a 4-day rest on the check swing and the ground out. And quickly, there is one away here to start off the top of the 3rd.
Coach, time!
There you see that pitching eligibility chart there. He's in that 51 to 65 range. So there's the 3 days rest. And with 12 more pitches, excuse me, 8 more pitches, he'll be in that 4 days rest, as you said. So that would be till Friday.
Michael Morelli now stepping up in a pinch hit spot. First pitch taking a called strike. And what's the biggest reason for the pitch count? Because a lot of people have asked over the years, why can't we just have the same pitcher pitch throughout? But yet there has to be a certain dynamic, a certain reason as to why you want to limit the pitch count for each pitcher.
Well, you're just protecting the kids. You're protecting the arms. We're seeing more and more injuries, the emphasis on throwing harder, players not having their arms trained to do so. And there's just an art, long toss has become a huge thing in baseball and training, and when these kids start getting 12, 13, 14 years old, because you're teaching your arm to be fatigued. The long distance throwing has been proven in many cases to help in that matter to prevent injury. But the Little League Baseball has made a decision that this is what they're going to do. They consulted with doctors across the country, and I think it's worked. I mean, we talked last game, you're seeing high school kids having Tommy John surgery, which is really something that's shocking and alarming.
Full count, payoff pitch inside, and so a nice job by Morelli, able to draw the 1-out walk here in this 3rd inning. As that'll bring up Ben Jerome in the number 7 spot. Drew a walk his first time up, eventually scored one of the 2 runs in that 3rd inning.
Taking it to an extreme as far as taking care of arms too. There have been some proponents of Little League Baseball to not allow breaking balls. Now that's a very small minority, but there have been some talk out there to do that to further protect these kids' arms. I know looking back at I started throwing a curveball. I was 11, 12 years old, messed around with it, but looking back on, I kind of wish I would have waited. I had some elbow trouble when I was in college my senior year, but some kids can, fastball, changeup, you can do a lot of things with fastball, changeup. Just those two pitches, varying your speeds, varying locations.
As Jerome awaiting the 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed as he goes down with the strikeout. And for Demers, that's his third strikeout of the night here in this third inning. And what was to be a very shaky start in the beginning, seemingly Demers is able to settle himself down. 67 pitches as manager Gary Bucci coming out to make a change. 3-0 Connecticut in front in this third inning. Much more action from Bristol in a moment.
I'm going to college, but also launching a new startup.
Well, these 2-in-1s come with a fast and powerful Intel Core processor, which means you'll have everything you need to take on whatever college or the real world might throw your way.
Save $100 on select 2-in-1 laptops. Best Buy.
The past 2 years have not seen one running back selected in the first round of the draft. That certainly puts a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon III to justify the selection. I don't think anyone doubts his ability as a runner, but will he be able to become a consistent threat out of the backfield? He has the potential to be a star. Only time will tell.
Speed Stick gear for moments that matter.
When I'm commissioner of our Commercial Actors Fantasy Football League, we'll all have access to Matthew Berry's expert advice. I hope he likes Jamal Charles this year. What a head of hair that guy has.
I'm going to bring back with me something that no other team can provide but you guys. That's pride. We get one shot to get it right. We get one shot to hold on tight. We get one shot to you had the whole place jumping. Want to know why? They're like sportsmen. They're like guys who don't quit. They're like guys who play the game the right way. That's us. We'll be the boys of summer.
Every time you see it, you get goosebumps. It's the 2015 Little League World Series, presented by Frosted Flakes, August 20th through the 30th. You can catch games on ESPN, ESPN2, the Watch ESPN app, available on ABC. Our colleague, David Belisle, in attendance for this one to watch the state of Rhode Island right now trail 3-0. Dylan Demers done here in the top of the third as a pitching change upcoming here for Rhode Island, as Cam Adamek, the left-stander, will be making his appearance here tonight for Rhode Island. Down by 3. And a new catcher as well, and Jared Olson. As Demers now moves to short as a result. Tanucci at the plate here with a 3-0 lead for Connecticut and 2 outs. As the curveball works in and quickly ahead of the count. And 0-2 is Adamek, who the left-handers steadfast to his name. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. I can understand why they picked the nickname.
What else would he be?
The 1-2 offering. Swung on and missed.
Base occupied.
Clean catch, batter's out.
Yeah. Clean catch, and the batter's out, as you just heard by home plate umpire Joseph Mitchell. So Connecticut with a 3-0 advantage on Rhode Island. Back on ESPN3 in just a moment.
Imagine She won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
For Nick?
Yeah. You want to take a shortcut?
Sure. So how do you like driving the FRS?
I love it. Handles well. It's got plenty of power. This is it. Nah.
The Scion FRS. Lease one today at the Scion Zero Drive-Off lease event.
We live in a world of mobile technology, but it is not the device that is mobile. It is you.
Real Madrid have about 450 million fans. We're trying to give them all the feeling of being at the stadium. The Microsoft Cloud give us...
As Waterford has a 3-0 lead on Cranston, Rhode Island, as we move to the bottom of the third inning.
Defensively for Connecticut now in right field, number 10, Ryan O'Connell. And left field,
O'Connell moving into right field.
And center field, number 11, Michael Morelli.
As Michael Morelli also moves over into center field, left field. And Burroughs back to work here to begin this bottom of the third. Mike Bogosian starting things off here for Rhode Island in this third inning. The Cranston team, who has won their district 5 years in a row, had some trouble getting out of the state tournament, having lost 3 straight years, finally breaking through and making it to the regionals. And now a bunt attempt nearly taken away by Jerome. And quickly down to the count 0-2 here in this third.
Got him in on the hands, right on the handle. And almost a spectacular catch there by the catcher, Jerome. You couldn't ask for any more from Burroughs. I mean, look at his pitch count. 30 pitches. It's 10 an inning. 1 hit he's given up.
As Burroughs trying to go with the high heat. 1-2. 1-2 now. Just 1 hit allowed. That was to Adamek in the second. On a double that ended up keeping him stranded at second in that second inning. Goshen now with the chopper to short. Salvador throws across the diamond for the putout, and there's 1 away. As that'll bring up the leadoff man, Caleb Harris, who grounded out the second his first time up.
Burroughs also is a shortstop, so we'll see him throughout the tournament there probably.
First pitch swinging, Salvador this time with a nice stab, and quickly there are 2 away.
He also leads the club in home runs, 8. So he can pitch, he can hit, he can field.
As Marchetti steps to the plate, grounded out to third, and fouled one right off the foot. And you can tell by his facial reaction that was not pleasant.
Don't rub it. Walk it off. Yeah, right off the lower part of his leg. And there's not a lot of meat on the bones right there at this age.
We talk about superstitions by all these young ball players. Marchetti, he loves to text all of his best friends before every game. So everyone knows when he's playing. As that one fouled away, and down the count 0-2 here with 2 outs. Base is empty. And a 3-0 hole Rhode Island is trying to get out of. A liner to third, stabbed down by O'Connell. As Marchetti comes up with a 2-out single here in this third. That one was a laser chip.
Sure, they're going to score that a hit. That's got to be a hit.
Second hit of the game for Rhode Island. And first pitch swinging again. And able to retire the side is Connecticut on the pop fly by Olsen. 2 hits allowed through 3 for Connecticut. They've got the 3-0 lead here at the New England Regional.
The all-new Fiat 500X crossover. It has 70 standard and available safety features, available all-wheel drive, and a few dangerous curves.
I create my own trends.
I don't follow them.
I set my own benchmark.
And walk a unique path.
When others change,
I am uncompromised.
I set my own standards.
And push my own limits.
I am
original.
Are you ready for ultra-high-def TVs with mind-blowing picture quality?
So ready.
Ready for color that's realer than real?
We're ready.
Ready for 4 times the resolution? Ready for the future of television?
I was born ready.
With this selection, oh, we're ready. Let us show you the difference. Come in and see the picture quality for yourself. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
You've heard of a win-win, right? What about a win-win-win? Pick up the limited edition Metallic Droid Turbo by Motorola. Water repellent, up to 48-hour battery life. That's your first win. Plus, it's only on Verizon, the #1 network. There's your next win. Now for the final win. Get $250 when you trade in any smartphone. And get 10 gigs of data for $80.
Little League has been strengthening communities, building friendships through teamwork, and providing fun competition for over 7 decades. Little League, the world's largest organized youth sports program with over 2 million kids and 1 million volunteers. To learn more about Little League, visit www.llbws.org or follow them with the hashtag LLWS on social media. Chip Frederick, John Brickley here with you. Game 4 of our quadruple header of this New England Regional featuring Cranston, Rhode Island and Waterford, Connecticut. A jam-packed Giamatti Center here tonight to witness this one. And one of the best rivalries in this region. The last 5 years, either Connecticut or Rhode Island has represented New England in Williamsport. As Adamek back to work. Working against Connor Podeswa in his first plate appearance. Podeswa holding. It's in front of the count, 2-1. His favorite players, you just saw Dustin Pedroia. A lot of Red Sox, Yankees ties for this Connecticut team. Rhode Island, I would say a majority of them are Red Sox fans.
Absolutely.
2-2.
Adamak's 2-2 pitch. As the curve misses at the knees, now full count to begin this top of the 4th inning.
3-2.
And the pitch low in the dirt, so Connecticut able to draw a leadoff walk. As Adamek knew he got away from that one. Here to start off this 4th inning, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Burrows, for Connecticut.
Well, even at any level of baseball, the old adage is you don't want to walk the leadoff man. You especially don't want to walk the #9 man in the order. We have seen continually this afternoon the power, obviously, for the reason, and that 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in every lineup. That's where the beef is.
And so now Robert Zowecki coming in a special pinch runner situation. Here with a 3-0 lead for a Connecticut team who is certainly have offensive power. 10 players having home run hits this year. And a wild pitch and the throw to second, not in time. And Zawecki able to get the base stolen to second here with nobody out. And the grounder to third, picked up by Mason across the diamond. They go back to third. And safe at third is Zawecki. Boy, I'll tell you, he's certainly given his head coach a little bit of a head scratcher on a couple of the decisions he's made on the base path.
Well, hot shot to third, does the right thing here, checks the runner back to the bag. But again, these dimensions are so short that it becomes a race, almost, you know, a race from second to third if the ball can beat the runner. And that's just what happened there. It's tough to cover that also from that short distance. With the third baseman throwing to first, his weight going towards first.
And Salvador back for his third plate appearance. The runner on third and a chance for Connecticut to extend their lead. Infield in for Rhode Island as Salvador swats one the other way. Beautiful stab at first on the play. Marchetti recording the second out for Rhode Island as the Cranston faithful acknowledge that great play by the first baseman.
Watch the stab here. Well, here's the play. Going back. He plays a go.
We've seen some great defensive plays throughout today. Some great action in this quadruple header. As Sokolsky, first pitch swinging right to the backstop. I mentioned how good Connecticut has been in terms of their offense, scoring double-digit figures in 8 games this year. 13-2 on the season coming in. That one just touches the outside corner and quickly. Zawecki on third with Sokolsky in some trouble, down 0-2. Olsen set up high on that offering by Adamek.
Olsen was almost standing.
And he still wasn't taller than Sokolsky. Thought about possibly going, and he even he looks down to his manager, Tim Burroughs, and says, yeah, no, I know, coach. I kept the bat on the shoulder on that one. That one just below the knees, and so a full count here with 2 outs. Zawecki on third and a 3-0 lead for Waterford.
Catch right here, I got it. Thanks, coach.
I like the way Sokolsky swings the bat. Stands up in there, good stance. Not a lot of wasted motion. Free swinger.
Reminds me of like a Ryan Braun type of swing. Now he goes opposite way. The right into the glove of Bajosian to end the inning. So Rhode Island still holding on, trailing by 3 as we move to the bottom of the 4th here in Bristol.
Drive into summer with exceptional offers on our full lineup. Lease the 7-seat Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month, now through August 31st.
Are you ready for ultra-high-def TVs with mind-blowing picture quality?
So ready.
Ready for color that's realer than real?
We're ready.
Ready for 4 times the resolution? Ready for the future of television?
I was born ready.
With this selection? Oh, we're ready. Let us show you the difference. Come in and see the picture quality for yourself. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
You ever feel like you're spinning? Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug, I thought you were trying to get deep.
Nah.
Programs in New England regional history. We take a look at the last 5 years. And Connecticut has won 3 of the last 5. Although Rhode Island, the defending champs out of Cumberland, on the ropes here tonight, down 3-0 to Waterford. As Burroughs working his way now into this bottom of the 4th inning with a pitch count of 38. But a chance now for Rhode Island to try to answer through. As Nick Mason steps to the plate to begin this bottom of the 4th. When we talk about rivalries in sports, Yankees, Red Sox, Connecticut, Rhode Island, you can certainly put into that picture as well. From your playing days at Vanderbilt, where would you say was your biggest rival?
Tennessee. I mean, you know, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, but of course the program has evolved since when I played, and you've got, you know, the SEC in baseball has gotten to be so competitive with the cathedral stadiums that they've done. I mean, LSU and Auburn and Florida, Arkansas has a great park, and it's just almost like an arms race, but Tennessee was our biggest rival.
And the offering from Burroughs slow, and Mason able to draw a walk here to lead things off in the bottom of the 4th. Every time I've gone to Vanderbilt 4 or 5 times in my life, and every time I see 2 pictures, Jay Cutler and David Price. I'm still looking for yours, Chip.
You have to look hard.
And the offering drops in for a base hit. Adamek with the single, and Rhode Island with their first real opportunity of the night gets the Cranston faithful on their feet here with the first 2 base runners on board.
Looper over the shortstop's head, but it doesn't matter. It counts. Doesn't matter if it's hit 200 feet or 3 feet. It's a single. Anything to get this started here for Rhode Island.
Well, Dylan Demers, by all accounts, would say that he had a poor outing, giving up the 3 runs. However, a chance to tie things up with 1 swing of the bat. Just 3 hits for this Rhode Island offense. And Demers quickly in the hole, down 0-2.
Cranston has to be smart here, though. They don't want to get any runners forced out at bases. They don't have to. I mean, they need to be smart on the base pass. That's okay here. Doubles on the wild pitch. They're going to advance. That's an easy way to do it. But now they really have to protect the plate here and nibble away at this lead. Base hit here gets them within 1.
And Burroughs at 47 pitches. With Jerome behind the plate. The offering to Demers. Swung on and missed, and Demers has just struggled in all facets tonight, going by way of the K. And so the strikeout with the first out here for Connecticut.
A little spinner. Tough pitch there.
Burroughs with his 4th strikeout of the night. With now 48 pitches.
Number 10, Jason Catalano.
As Jason Catalano stepping in a pinch hitting situation and part of the mandatory play. And first pitch swinging. As mentioned, if a team has 13 or 14 players, each player must bat once. As Catalano fouls that one away, quickly down 0-2. Rhode Island's been looking for some kind of spark tonight, Chip, but Burroughs has been able to silence them in critical spots.
0-2 working up the ladder there, trying to get him to chase.
Here's the offering. Gets past the second baseman, Intanuti. And now 2 runs are going to come in to score on the base hit. Here by Padalano in a pinch hitting spot, and Rhode Island within 1 at 3-2.
I'm not sure if he lost this somehow. It looked like he was going to make the play. Tough play anyway, but the 2-run score, but that's just slapping the ball, putting it in play. However, whatever way you can, whatever, putting the ball on the ground, in the air, protecting the plate there with 2 strikes.
Get out, go on back, go on back, go on back. Go ahead, coach.
And now home plate umpire Joseph Mitchell directing traffic.
For Rhode Island, number 5, Ryan Demers enters as a special pinch runner.
And so Ryan Demers comes on as a special pinch runner here in this bottom of the 4th, with Rhode Island chipping away, only down by 1 on the 2-run single by Padalano. And the first pitch offering to Tom Harper inside there for a called strike, as Burroughs now at 53 pitches. This Cranston offense was effective throughout their run in the state tournament, where they outscored their opponents 49-4, won back-to-back games against rival Lincoln by a final of 14-0. And yet they trail by 1 here to Connecticut in the 4th. Burroughs, as Jerome could not handle the pitch, and Padalano advances into scoring position.
Those games against Lincoln, they beat them twice, 14-0, back-to-back. Pretty impressive there.
The 1-2 pitch, swatted away, and Harper staying alive here with 1 out, and the tying run at second.
Ball. 2-2.
Burroughs offering, gets the strikeout, number 5 for Burroughs, and a big one as Harper goes down with the strikeout. And now 2 outs, still with the tying run at second.
Thank you, coach.
As Jake San Antonio is going to come to the plate in a pinch hit spot. Now that is a great name. Jake San Antonio. A chance to tie this one up. First pitch inside, taken for a strike. Now there's a young man that knows music, AC/DC.
That's right. Now we're talking.
I know Chip wants to elaborate on that one.
Just more generational, you know? I mean, goodness. Half these artists I don't even know.
0-2 pitch high from Burroughs. Looking to get out of this jam now, 61 pitches.
1-2.
23 of which coming this inning. That one slapped to first, and Connecticut able to get out of the jam on the ground out for Rhode Island. But the boys from Cranston making it interesting. Connecticut led 3-0, and then in a pinch hit spot, Jason Padalano coming through with 2 runs. Rhode Island within 1.
This summer, make the most of the season with Jeep Cherokee's legendary off-road capability. The 2015 four-wheeler of the year gets up to 31 mpg highway. So you can cherish every sunrise and chase every sunset. Your endless summer starts at the Jeep Summer Clearance Event. Well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on one of these 3 4x4 Jeep vehicles for under $200 a month.
Imagine, she won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Technology empowers us to achieve more. It pushes us to go further.
Special Olympics has almost 5 million athletes in 170 countries. The Microsoft Cloud allows us to immediately be able to access information wherever we are. Information for an athlete's medical care or information to track their personal best. With Microsoft Cloud, we save millions of man-hours. And that's time that we can invest in our athletes and changing the world.
You're not going to fit.
In Bristol, Connecticut, as we get set for the top of the 5th inning, a 3-2 advantage for Connecticut over rival Rhode Island. Connecticut starting things off with a run in the first, added 2 more in the second. Yet Jason Padalano coming through in the bottom half of the 4th with a 2-run single, and the Cranston faithful still believing that they've got a shot at knocking off Connecticut, only down by 1 as we begin the 5th. Adamek back to work, facing off with O'Connell. And back-to-back strikes here by Adamek has him ahead in the count, 0-2 against O'Connell.
2 strikes. Ball.
And that one high. I always remember from my Little League days that anytime you faced off with a southpaw, it was just absolute fascination because you never saw it.
Freaks of nature.
As O'Connell to second. Harris with the grounder. Easy throw to first. As that retires O'Connell to start off the 5th.
And likewise, as a pitcher, I had a hard time early on throwing, being left-handed. It was awkward for me to throw to left-handed batters because there weren't many. Maybe it's just my generation. Weren't a lot of left-handed batters.
Although the one advantage I remember watching, one Andy Pettit, his great pickoff move to first.
Oh, yeah.
The one advantage left-handers certainly have against runners at first. As Trey Brennan steps to the plate here with 1 out. And first pitch swinging for Brennan. He reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. And again, Adamek on point in this 5th inning. Ahead in the count, 0-2. And 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes. And just like that, back-to-back strikeouts.
Well, he's in a groove right now. Look at that, bearing down, outside third of the plate. Pumping his fist.
Number 47.
Correction on that, his second strikeout is. There are 2 away here in this top of the 5th, and Robert Zawecki, the center fielder, to the plate. Adamek, Chip, has just been on point in this 5th inning. Zawecki holding off, evens up the count. Wants to meet Rob Gronkowski. Who doesn't if you're a Patriots fan? That one foul tipped.
Being left-handed definitely has its advantages. I know my dad, my late father, was thrilled when I started using my left hand. Word is he kind of tied my hand behind my back just to make sure I'd stay that way. But now the big disadvantage, I thought this the other day, is the spiral notebooks. And that's such a, I mean, I was trying to use one of those the other day, and you can't write on it. And
I will say this, I'm left-handed when I write, so I can understand the anomaly of trying to deal with a spiral notebook. But the anomaly Connecticut has been trying to deal with is the pitching of Cam Adamek. Back-to-back strikeouts. And Rhode Island within striking distance, down by 1 to Connecticut as the Cranston faithful hearing themselves here tonight in Bristol.
The past 2 years have not seen one running back selected in the first round of the draft. That certainly puts a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon III to justify the selection. I don't think anyone doubts his ability as a runner, but will he be able to become a consistent threat out of the backfield? He has the potential to be a star. Only time will tell.
Speed Stick gear for moments that matter.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Scott. Just finished up a show. Guess I'm gonna head on out of here. Cool. Go home watching some television or something.
All right. Enjoy.
Cheesy bites with new crust flavors. Hot favorite barbecue and now ranch. You missed, oh no, so close, nice try. Dad, you stole.
More flavor, more fun. Pizza Hut's Cheesy Bites Pizza is back with your choice of 1 of 7 crust flavors, like new ranch and barbecue. No one has more flavor. Only at Pizza Hut.
I think GMAT's on vacation, so I think it's going to be next week, maybe? Really?
Dude, what are you doing?
For the 5th inning in this New England Regional, a modified double elimination bracket. Earlier today, Newton, Massachusetts winning with style 11-0 over Bedford, Maine. And the winner of this game will move on to face off with Bedford, New Hampshire at 4 Eastern tomorrow. Our first matchup of the day coming at 10 a.m. Eastern time, as Massachusetts goes up against South Burlington, Vermont. Interesting note about Vermont, one of only 8 states to never make a Little League World Series appearance. And Burroughs, 62 pitches, back to work, and his first pitch nearly hits Caleb Harris to lead things off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. As Vermont looking on with eagerness as to who they will play tomorrow. We know that in Newton, Mass. Bedford, New Hampshire, meanwhile, looking on and wondering who they will play, either Connecticut or Rhode Island. As one of the great things, though, all these teams have had a chance to go through ESPN and tour the facilities, and you look at the eyes of wide open when they see the new digital center. They can't believe that's where SportsCenter takes place every night.
They asking a lot of questions, or are they just more wide-eyed? I'm sure they're a thousand questions.
Here's a drive to center and picked off in center. Nice play on the line drive. Zawecki able to get the first put out here in the bottom of the 5th. The only question I got asked was, who are you? That was about it. Do you work here? Might have been the other one.
Well, I told Mark, my 5-year-old son wanted to know if I was going to get to go by where ESPN and the cafeteria, and I was,
very scary moment as Burroughs lost control of that pitch and hits Marchetti right on the back.
Trainer's coming out.
If it got him in the helmet, I think it might have. Let's see if we're going to get a replay here, but It has gone silent here, of course, naturally.
Can hear a pin drop as Marchetti walks away, jogging down to first. Looks like it hit him in the upper shoulder. Upper right shoulder, it looks to be.
Ooh. Still stings.
Able to walk it off, though, as that will bring up Jared Olson. Yeah, there's so much talk about the cafeteria.
Yeah, I wanted to know if I was going to, Daddy, are you going to be able to eat with all the mascots? You know, the Big Red and the Mr. Met, that they think that's real, you know.
Well, hey, you know.
And as Mark said, that means it's working.
It's working, right? Exactly. We got one generation under our belts. The 0-1 pitch. Olson sends it the other way, right into the glove, though. To end this one, Sokolsky coming up with a double play. And just like that, Rhode Island's chances end with the double play. Sokolsky with the wet gem of the night for Connecticut. They have a 3-2 lead as we move to the 6th inning.
Drive into summer with exceptional offers on our full lineup. Lease the 7-seat Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month, now through August 31st.
Imagine, these kids won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched. And web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared. They'll expect their devices to listen to them and talk and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, their technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. The future starts now. For all of us. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Here in Bristol, Connecticut, with the boys from Waterford leading the boys from Cranston, Rhode Island 3-2. Each team with 4 hits. Rhode Island with the 2 errors. And despite a 1-run game, Chip Frederick, you look at the modified double elimination format of this Little League World Series. We're in phase 1, the double elimination format with the 4 teams remaining. And then you go single elimination after that. So still, whoever loses this game has a chance to represent New England in Williamsport. As Adamek working, first pitch swinging is Jerome to second. Not in time, though, as Harris's throw comes up late and the leadoff man on for Waterford.
That ball had a little English on it, a little spin, but still, even if it didn't, it was going to be difficult to get that runner. Watch his spin, hit off the end of the bat. Hard to see there, but it definitely kicked towards first base.
And so with that, Cam Adamac's night is done on the mound. Was effective in a relief situation. As now it looks to be Jared Olson coming in for relief for Rhode Island. We'll step aside with the pitching change. 3-2 Connecticut in front of Rhode Island here in the New England Regional in Bristol, Connecticut.
Imagine, she won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
We live in a world of mobile technology, But it is not the device that is mobile. It is you.
Real Madrid have about 450 million fans. We're trying to give them all the feeling of being at the stadium. The Microsoft Cloud gives us the scalability to communicate exactly the content that people want to see. Will help people connect to their passion of living Real Madrid.
New episodes available online at espn.com/30for30/shorts.
On the mound here for Rhode Island in this 6th inning. And the barometer set by these two teams over the last couple of years. We saw in 2013 the team from Westport, Connecticut, make a run past Rhode Island to win the New England Championship. And last year, Rhode Island able to return the favor. Our colleague David Belisle leading Cumberland to the New England Championship. And here tonight, boys from Waterford, Connecticut find themselves up 3-2 on Cranston here in this 6th inning. With a runner on, and the man they call JoJo, Jared Olson, on the mound. 5'3", 115 pounds. Third pitching change for head coach Gary Bucci. And stepping to the plate, Anthony Tanucci here to start things off on the pitching change for Waterford. So Adamek moves over to first. Harris stays at second as home plate umpire Joseph Mitchell conferring with Little League World Series officials.
Rhode Island.
Marchetti still behind the plate for Rhode Island, and as mentioned, Adamek moves over to first. Mandatory play, one of those situations we mentioned before. If a team has 13 or 14 players, each player must bat once. And if a team has 12 or fewer players, as a result, each player has to play a consecutive number of at least a minimum of 6 defensive outs and have at least one at bat.
This discussion's obviously about substitution or a change that was made, and they might have to change once again.
And the issue now is Jared Olson, who is the catcher at the time, caught for 4 innings,
right,
which by rules say you cannot pitch after that.
Coach, come here. Come on.
So that's why head manager Gary Bucci had to make the change, another substitution. That's why the delay for the cause is Nick Mason now will be on the mound. So now we're waiting through the pitching change. And we look at the rules in terms of substitutions. As it states, a starter or substitute may re-enter the game, but only in the same position in the batting order. And then the key one at the bottom, if a pitcher throws 41 or more pitches in a game, cannot become the catcher for the remainder of that day. So that's where the mandatory play rules come into effect. And that may have been a situation where Gary Bucci just simply forgot the rule.
Sure. And some people might be asking, well, what difference does it make, a catcher? Well, the catcher is using his arm, throwing, runners out, throwing the ball back to the pitcher. So they're counting that as, not abuse of the arm, but overworking potentially the arm there.
And you can argue, if you want to play devil's advocate with a situation like this, the detriment for this is it kind of slows down the progress of the game, slows the momentum down for both teams because the rules have to be in place. But again, it's for the safety of the player. That's the centerpiece and the focal point for the rules.
Well, as we talked about, Little League Baseball made a big-time decision about 4 or 5 years ago that we were going to follow this protocol, brought in, consulted with surgeons and doctors, sports doctors all around the country, and they're going to enforce the rules. It's a big issue for them.
And here's the proper verbiage from the catcher to pitcher eligibility rule. As mentioned, originally it looked to have been Jared Olson to be in the pitcher spot. Instead, it's actually going to be now Nick Mason because of that rule. And now everything is sorted out. Danucci at the plate here for Waterford. But again, that's why the rules are in place. So it's understandable as to why there would be a delay to make sure everything is correct and conferred upon by league officials and umpires. Danucci with the 1-1 offering. Is that one low, 2-1. Give credit to Connecticut's defense, holding Rhode Island, who had come in red hot at the plate. Instead, they have been quieted to just 2 runs on 4 hits here tonight.
I asked a coach 2 years ago when I did some games in Indianapolis for their regionals there. I asked him, I said, how do you keep up with all the pitch counts? Strike out there, punch out, nice outside corner. But how did, you know, and he said basically we break it up on our staff.
Number 4, Matt Sanford.
As Mason with his first strikeout of the night. And yeah, that's why the staff plays a critical role for any manager.
One coach is in charge of the pitch count. One coach makes sure all the substitutions are done. And then you have, you know, you got to also play the game and do the decisions that normal baseball that the skipper does.
As Sanford back to the plate. Take a look at Tim Burrows and Gary Bucci, the respective managers for Waterford and for Cranston. As Jerome has been holding on to first for a while. I made the joke in between games. I said, set it in, Jerome. And he had no idea what I was talking about. I said, well, at 31, I now officially feel old. And that one fouled away. Evens up the count at 2-2. I mean, there are certain points in life where you say, okay,
you got to know that.
I'm old. I get it.
Yeah, but come on, you got to know that. They've heard that.
As Sanford with the dribbler to short. Mishandled by Demers. Able to get the force out at second here in this 6th inning with 2 outs.
Ball got up on him a little bit, but kept his poise, kept the ball in front.
So Jared Burrows, the starter for Connecticut, has thrown 70 pitches still in this game. Now, in terms of the pitching eligibility, he's got 15 more pitches to that 85 pitch count, but already he's going to have to go on 3 days rest because of the rule. But at this point right now, he's pitched so well. Excuse me, check that, 4 calendar days.
So he wouldn't be eligible till Saturday if they're still playing.
So at this point right now, why not keep him in and see what you can get for 15 pitches? Mason with the 1-2 offering. Gets him on the outside corner. The punch out that ends the 6th inning for Cranston, Rhode Island. 3 more outs away is Connecticut. Rhode Island trying to muster up a comeback here in Bristol.
Let's go. Fight, fight. Stay low. Come on, fight. Gotta stay low.
It took Serena Williams years to master the two-handed backhand.
Let's go.
But only one shot to master the Chase mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
The past 2 years have not seen one running back selected in the first round of the draft. That certainly puts a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon III to justify the selection. I don't think anyone doubts his ability as a runner, but will he be able to become a consistent threat out of the backfield? He has the potential to be a star. Only time will tell.
Speed Stick gear for moments that matter.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Back in Bristol, Connecticut, final 3 outs for Cranston, Rhode Island, trying to muster up a late comeback, down 3-2 here in this New England regional matchup. And Zach Burrows back on the mound, 70 pitches, but he has been effective here tonight. As Jared Burrows, the ace of this staff, it looks like tonight. Chip Fedrick just 3 outs away, trying to get through without the 85 pitch count playing a factor. 5 innings of work, allowing just 2 runs on 4 hits while striking out 5.
Well, you're right, John. I mean, why take him out now? He's out for the 4 days. You want to try to ride him.
And so Nick Mason, who was just in a relief appearance for Cranston, here to lead things off. And quickly Burrows ahead 0-2 in the count.
I think you're going to see fastball, fastball, fastball.
Go-to pitch gets him with the high heat, and Burrows just like that with the quick strikeout of Mason, and there's 1 away in the 6th inning.
19 batting for 12.
He has pitched an absolute stellar game tonight for an offense normally dominating their opponents throughout the district and the state tournament, but has only been held to 4 hits on 2 runs here tonight. Will Nebus making his first plate appearance of the night, and Burrows 4 pitches, 4 strikes. Foul tipped. Quickly in the hole is Nebus, 0-2. And Chip, you mentioned it, fastball, fastball, fastball.
Hit it if you can.
Just put the 1 finger down if you're Jerome. The 0-2 pitch. Low at the knees as Nebus stays alive. Again, keeping an eye on that pitch count, 77, the limit for any pitcher in Little League World Series is 85. As Nebus evens up the count at 2-2.
Now he can complete, if he gets to 82 or 83 and he's on the final, he can complete that batter, right? Is that correct?
That is correct, yep. Right down the middle, strike 3 called. Nebus goes down with the strikeout. Burris' 7th of the night, and Connecticut is 1 out away from victory.
Great location. Mitt didn't even move.
Now a pinch hit situation. Ryan Demers stepping into the plate here for Cranston, their last opportunity if you can get on. Burrows with back-to-back strikeouts to begin this 6th inning. Touches the outside corner. Quickly 0-1. Take a look at this. First pitch strike 16 to the 24 batters he's faced.
Getting ahead. It's the art of pitching, getting ahead in the count. Not walking batters.
Low at the knees, and Demers able to work the count to his favor, 2-1. And this will either end the game or end Burrows' night. He's got 3 pitches away from 85. And foul tip, 2-2 here with 2 outs as Cranston down to their final strike. That ground ball to short. This will do it. And Jared Burroughs with a gem of a performance tonight for Connecticut. Goes the full 6 innings. And Waterford takes the bragging rights from Cranston, Rhode Island, winging it here in Bristol by a final of 3-2.
Freaking play right there. Money play. Get up there, guys.
Great job by Burroughs. He's definitely the highlight of the night. Get their 3 runs early and they're just hanging on to get the victory 3-2. No offense for Connecticut, but that's all they needed to get the victory.
Got 3 early runs. Rhode Island responded with 2 in the 4th inning. And yet, you look at the performance from Jared Burroughs, 6 innings, striking out 7, allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits. The difference maker tonight for Waterford as they advance here in this New England regional bracket. A beautiful night under the lights at the Giamatti Center here in Bristol. And so with that victory, Waterford is going to be moving on. They're going to face off with New Hampshire. Medford, New Hampshire. While Vermont and Massachusetts will do battle in the other half of the winners bracket. When we take a look at our coverage, we'll be starting Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time here on ESPN3. Newton, Mass going up against South Burlington, Vermont. That'll be followed by the 4 o'clock matchup as the boys from Waterford, Connecticut will match up with Bedford, New Hampshire. A great day of action capped off by a great rivalry game between Cranston, Rhode Island and Waterford, Connecticut. And Jared Burroughs was in rare form tonight for Connecticut, going the distance as they get the victory by a final of 3-2. For my partner, Chip Frederick, I'm John Brickley. So long from Bristol.